Hey everyone, welcome back. This is day 6. I skipped a few days for a number of reasons. I had some work that I had to do, and also I've been having some issues with some of the editing, um, so that's been kind of taking a while. Updates. This past weekend was shit. It was terrible. I did really bad in terms of keeping up. It was pretty much every single day I was having at least one nap that I slept through, and it's just I believe that what's going on is just it's working where I'm falling asleep deeper, which is ultimately what I need to do. I need to fall asleep into a deeper nap and get into REM cycle. But when I do that, it's just harder for me to wake up. So I was having issues with that, and so there are a couple of things that I was gonna do to try to troubleshoot. The first thing was I have a couple of roommates, so my girlfriend and my roommate Kristen. I asked them whenever they're around. I asked them to wake me up, or at least check on me to see if I woke up, which a couple times I think they have had to. But of course they're not around all the time, and I can't expect them to be around all the time. So the other thing is when they're not around, I've tended to not try to have. If you guys have been following from the beginning, you guys know that I've talked about how at a certain point I started to fall into a deeper sleep, but it was also partly like I'd be able to push my mind into kind of relaxing a little bit deeper, and I still feel like there's a little bit of that. Like sometimes I just go straight into a deep nap, but the other times like I'd have to push myself if I actually was going to get into that deep nap. So like for times when it's like there aren't going to be anybody around, I kind of had to not push myself into that deep nap, which isn't really good because that means I'm basically not getting as much sleep, and I end up being really a lot more tired than if I push myself. Because when I push myself into that deep sleep, I wake up way more refreshed. Whereas when I'm kind of just like closing my eyes, not really actually getting into that deep state, like it's I wake up and I'm like a little bit more refreshed, but still not really where I should be after each of these naps. And the final thing, which is I think the most important thing after those two things, because I was finding that even though my roommates were being great, I still, when they weren't around, it's difficult to expect them to be around all the time. So especially at 12 at night and 4 in the morning. So the other thing that I've now started trying to do, as I told you guys, I was putting the phone like right next to my face. I changed the ringtone to try to make it as annoying as possible, which kind of sucks also for my roommates. So far I haven't had them complain and said like, oh, is this too loud, you woke me up or anything like that. They're in the other rooms, but it's still kind of like they are annoying ringtones. So it is more likely that they could also get woken up as well. But the other big thing, and this has actually solved that issue as well, because after I was trying to do all that stuff and it still wasn't working, I was still sleeping through the annoying ringtones and all that stuff, I decided I'd try doing this, and that's getting some headphones. So I got a couple of headphones, and now I plug them into my phone anytime I'm going to take a nap, and so it doesn't get any closer than that, going straight into my head. So so far it's actually worked. I haven't had any times since using the headphones, but I just started using them. But so far I haven't had any times when I didn't wake up from my nap when I'm using my headphones. So hopefully that'll continue. It's a little bit scary to get into a deep nap and trust on that. If I have something that's going on that I need to do around the time of the nap, like as much as I want to say, oh yeah, I'll just go into this deep nap and now the headphones will work. It's tough if I have something in a half hour that I'm gonna have to go to. So I'm testing it out, seeing how it works. I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully I stop having longer naps. It's a fairly common thing that it's really difficult to get to that 2-hour point. Some people can do it, but it is a common thing where people will find that no matter how far they get, it's almost impossible to get that only 20 minutes per nap. So yeah, I'm still going for it. I gave myself about 2 weeks to try to get to a point where I'm on the schedule and I feel comfortable with it. So, I don't know that would mean that that's when I'm going to end doing the Uberman. I definitely don't think that it would be when I would end polyphasic sleep. I think I'm interested in eventually going to the to a polyphasic sleep schedule where I have small naps throughout the day and then maybe one large nap of an hour and a half or something like that, maybe 2 hours. Depending on just the options, just taking a look. And it's a big part of it is just it's so difficult to plan anything big. If you want to do something that's kind of like cooler, and more of a big event. Sometimes or if I sometimes I do jobs that are 12 hours out of the day, and that's not really possible when you're having to nap every 4 hours. You can sleep during your lunch or something like that, but if it is a 12-hour day shift, you're gonna have one lunch, and that might be 6 hours into the shift. But even if you can nap during the lunch, there's going to be that time before and time after that's not under 4 hours. So I've been still very much happy with the process because I felt like I've gotten so much done, and I really haven't had like the most negative thing is for me so far has been the trouble with having a consistent or a longer time period for more in-depth things, like the schedule part, and also just being frustrated that I can't actually stick to only 20 minutes. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention, and that is I had talked about the lucid dreams, and how I was there was those dreams that you kind of start to get into, but like you're self-aware. That's kind of something that I read about online. But actually, when I started getting into the deeper naps, I stopped having those. I don't have those dreams when I get into those deeper naps. And I guess I wonder if the other people, if they get into deep naps, or why I wouldn't be why the deeper naps would keep me from having that. So maybe the other people were just hallucinating and they were only having semi-naps when I was dealing with, because it was during the transition period when I was really freaking tired that I started to kind of like be more creative, and which I still think I'm probably creative. I don't know. I just don't have dreams that are creative. And so and I don't have that kind of like feeling of like, oh, I can feel my body asleep, but my mind's still very present. And so, like I said, it could just be that they were just struggling to actually get good naps. And I remember seeing some of those people who were talking about having lucid dreams. They were saying that they never really got 100% of like getting 2 hours per day. Like they would cheat on some of that. So they might have been sleep deprived and really really tired and hallucinating. But I can't say. Only time will tell. I hope that I eventually do find out that there are lucid dreams that I'll have, and it just takes a little bit more time. So once again, I'll keep you guys posted on that, and it'll be interesting, I'm sure, either way. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.